Today let's talk about story concepts. Concepts tell us what a story is about, the core idea of the story. The story concept can be broken out into high concept, low concept, and a premise. Low concepts are simple and can come off as generic or mundane at first glance. However, these stories often contain more character development and nuance than their high concept counterparts. Low concepts don't have built-in conflicts and antagonists, nor do they appear on their surfaces to be particularly unique or compelling. They are more difficult to pitch or sell because they're harder for audiences to envision. However, if well executed, low concept stories can perform well. In the anime arena, most slice of life anime fall into this low concept category, where they tend to stick to the daily life of teenage high schoolers. Even with such a mundane low concept, we have seen many brilliant anime come from this over the years. Then, we have high concept. High concepts pack a lot of punch in just a few words. They often wrestle with what-if questions and tend to contain built-in appeal while conveying a fresh or original ideal, or a new twist on an old ideal. Many high concepts focus on primal emotions and situations, such as survival or finding love. The conflict and genre are often self-evident. These concepts are visual. In just a few words, they spark people's imagination. A one-line description is enough to draw people's attention. Now with high concepts, we can capture the majority of anime. In particular, all isekai anime fall into this high concept categorization. Isekai anime present questions such as, what if I was transported to another world with all my previous memories intact? What if I entered a video game and if I died in the game, I died in real life as well? What if I became my video game avatar after closing down the game? Guess the anime for each of these questions in the comments. Finally, we move on to the premise. Concepts are often too broad and are only interesting on the surface, even high concepts. 100 storytellers could start with the same concept, high or low, and they'll end up with 100 different premises. This is very important and gives significant insight into why there are so many isekai anime produced each year with the exact same high concept of being transported to another world or being trapped in a video game, etc. The premises for each of these anime vary so drastically that it does not matter what the high concept is the same. That brings us to the anime I want to talk about today. My Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom, or Hamefura for short. When the spring 2020 anime season was announced, this was the one that caught my eye, simply because of the quality of the concept. Katarina is reborn into the world of fortune lover after her death as an otaku. So, the high concept is the same as any isekai, but here is where the premise breaks away. She's not reborn as a hero, but as a villain who is eventually slain or exiled by the game's main characters. She eventually regains her memory and realizes her situation. As an avid player of fortune lover before her death in Japan, she knows how things will end for her character here. She begins her quest to prevent her demise. As far as premises go, this is one of the most interesting I've seen to date. The initial premise is good, but with the direction they take it in, it gets even better as the show progresses. To prevent her own demise, Katarina befriends all the characters she's aware of that can bring about her downfall. In doing so, she unwittingly develops a multi-gendered reverse harem. She's also ignorant to the harem just as any other harem protagonist would be. The The premise for this anime starts out as interesting and slowly becomes amazing as the episodes progress. The author, Satoru Yamaguchi, takes the standard anime tropes and spin it in such a creative way using this premise. This isn't satire, but rather a reframing of the common tropes into this new framework. It justifies the tropes in a way that would seem logical to even the most logical person. Part of the beauty of creating a premise inside the framework of isekai as a high concept is that you can get straight to the premise. Time doesn't have to be wasted on detailed world building and grand lore dumps because the majority of the anime viewing audience is familiar with isekai as a concept. I would then argue that the saturation of anime with isekai isn't a weakness but actually its greatest strengths. Within the very first episode of Hamefuro, the premise was clear and it confirmed my suspicions based on the trailer of how interesting this anime was going to be. I won't give any further details about the anime as I wish for everyone to go and see it for themselves. This is not a masterpiece. It is riddled with problems in pacing and storytelling. However, I was able to keep watching it slowly based off the strength of the initial premise. This therefore is a masterclass in story concept. Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe, and maybe check out another video since you made it to the end.